Alright, so I have finally made it to the last and final milestone for Skip the Dishes. Now, this milestone is nothing. Sorry, said that all wrong. This is not an average time frame for this milestone. Now, for myself, I could have achieved it a week prior from the recording of this date, or the date of this recording. Anyways, and for most people, this would take probably a year to 2 years, depending on how much you work, to achieve this goal. Now, I signed up October 9th of 2020, and it is now May 30th of 2021. So, here we go. The 25,000 kilometer milestone. It's about the journey, not the destination. Way to go, Case. So there you have it. I have made it to the last and final. Whoa, what? Is there another milestone to go? So I lied. I lied! Okay, so you could see the ring here. There must be another ring to go. For the deliveries, I've made it to the 5,000. You're a legend. That was the last video. And, okay, so I lied. There is one more milestone of 50,000 kilometers. Wowzers. I thought I was at the last one. Anyways, yeah, like I said, this is not average for most people. I have put in a crazy amount of hours in a short amount of time. Anywhere from 3 to 20 hours in a day. So kind of going past the legal limit. But I'd give myself breaks and sleep in between shifts. I'd literally eat, sleep, work to make it to this point. So 50,000 kilometers is probably going to take me close to a year now, or another 8 months, because I'll be slowing down for the next 3 months due to some personal financial reasons. But one of the most common questions that the new people ask are, what are the best hours to work? Well, personally, I will have to tell you that is up to you to figure out. So, obviously, this is the restaurant business and you're doing food delivery. So, yes, the evening hours are going to be far greater than anything else. But that being said, I have made a substantial amount of money in the morning time, and I have made very little money at night. And quite the opposite, where I've made very little money in the morning and quite a bit at night. And what time of hour is best to work? Well, I have made good money every hour all day long on a 24-hour basis. So you have to figure out what hours are best for you, because I have worked literally every shift there is, starting first thing in the morning, say 7 o'clock a.m., and working right until 5 a.m. So I've made money right to the very last minute. I've had shifts where I was working till 5 a.m. in the morning, and they gave me orders that went past my due date. And that's gone on for me, or that has happened to me on every shift that I've ever worked. They have pushed me through. I don't know if that's just because of the style of work I do, and that's the algorithm that's figured out that I'll just work. I usually stay on to the end of shift no matter what. This shift I took was 10 till 2 a.m. and I'm gonna just cut it short now. It's midnight. I've made my money for the week. I found Sundays are great. Working until 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. because a lot of people will go home and want to start a fresh week first thing in the morning, Monday morning. Well, if you look at it right now, 12:02 is first thing in the morning, Monday morning, where I have come out ahead quite often before everybody else and made some very good money, very good paychecks. So yeah, I took that shift tonight, the extra 10 till 2 a.m. so that I could achieve this milestone today, thinking it was the last one that I had to go. But obviously there's a 50,000 kilometer milestone, and that's what I'll be looking forward to next. It took me 8 months to get to 25,000, working some insane hours, so I'm thinking it's going to be closer to a year to get to the 50,000 kilometer milestone. But that's going to be quite the achievement. I have seen some guys that have made it to this point, but they have also worked 3 years to get there. Skip is quite popular now in the area that I am in, which would be Victoria. And yeah, so this milestone could vary across Canada depending on where you are. So Victoria, BC is very substantial, and you can move into other parts of the country. Well, I don't know if I want to go zooming around, but anyways, this is where I'm located. It's done well for me. I've been able to make a full-time living off of this. Keep in mind that I am a subcontractor, and the reason why I do it is because I pay 20% on taxes rather than an employee that would pay 35% on taxes. And if I'm smart about my money and take my profit and reinvest it into a TSFA stock, that would be a tax-free savings account, but within a stock, on the stock market, not an RRSP or anything else like that, then there are substantial tax savings. And this is why I work as an independent contractor rather than somebody working for Domino's. I am able to write off my vehicle maintenance, fuel, food, office supplies, so on and so forth, anything that's related with Skip right now, because that's what I'm making my money off of. I'm not making money off of my YouTube channel, but once I do make money off my YouTube channel, then I can start writing off cameras and camera gear and different trips around, anything that I film, and start making money off of. So that would be the next potential goal for me, and possibly something else. But anyways, that's future plans. So just wanted to share this milestone with you and share a few of my thoughts. So one of the biggest things, I've probably said it in one of my other videos before, one of the restaurant managers said, well, anybody could sign up with Skip and deliver food. Yes, they can, but not everybody is built for this or inclined to do the work as proficiently and efficiently as possible. Keep in mind you are a contractor, so you are your own boss. You can add on the hours that you choose to work and subtract them as you feel necessary. But what I have learned is that delivery is the key objective, but this is a game of strategy. And if you don't play the game of strategy, it will come back and bite you in the butt. Now, I've never heard of anybody getting kicked off of Skip. I did see one post on a forum that a guy did get kicked off of Skip, so he must have done something really, really bad, because I've heard of all kinds of bad things happening. People yelling at restaurant people, demanding the food for their delivery, all kinds of things, you name it, just crazy stuff. Alcohol delivery hasn't always been the greatest experience for quite a few people. On my personal note, I don't recommend it. But that's each their own. Some people say they make more, some people don't. Skip advertises that there's 14 or 15% more tips or greater tips all across Canada. But through my experience, alcohol delivery or just strictly food delivery, you will make the same amount of money. Okay, I've put in enough hours to know. And from my experience, you make less money, in my eyes, doing alcohol delivery because you have to spend more time on that delivery by checking a person's ID, knocking on their door, making sure they're up front and present, and making sure they are not intoxicated or under the influence of drugs or whatever it may be. So it is a little bit more time consuming and you have a greater responsibility, and there really is no extra pay. I make the same amount of money if I do the delivery of alcohol as I do with food. And I like food because I can just pick it up from the restaurant, drop it off at the door, boom. Just all I have to make sure is that I'm very calculated and I'm at the proper address. So that being said, I always turn on my Google navigation, regardless if I've been to the address once or 10 or 20 times. I always put it on so that I have a record of account of where I've been, and make sure that I go to the right place. Parking, I always check my app. As soon as I receive the order, I swipe that I accept it because I accept everything, because I know that it averages out to be the same no matter what. On a good day, you'll make really good money. But average, you're making $20 to $25 an hour average. But that being said, while I'm driving towards the restaurant, the number one thing is for me is I learned where all my restaurants were, and I got to know where all the parking locations were. And I purchased a commercial parking permit so that I can park in commercial parking spots, which are generally open, especially in downtown corridors, or there's available parking most of the time, 80 to 90%, not always, but it does make it easier, and then my permit is paid for the year, and I don't have to pay for parking all the time, and therefore I can get to the restaurants quicker and sooner because of where I'm parked. Instead of walking an extra block or two because I've found a stall somewhere. But that's all learning curves, figuring out where the restaurants are, figuring out where the parking spots are, and then while I'm en route to the restaurant, I always check my route to where I need to go to for location. Now, Victoria is based on named streets. It's not on a grid, so you have to be a little bit more calculated that way. You can't just go off a grid like a city like Calgary or Edmonton, and so on and so forth. So I always check my route so that I know which way I want to be facing when I park my car, so that I can get back into the car and get going as quickly as possible without making too many extra turns or extra stops at stoplights. So being very calculated that way, and it's paid off for me quite often. Quite often, I will show up after 2 or 3 drivers and I will leave before them because of this. I have had instances where I've seen new drivers racing past vehicles thinking that they're going to save themselves some time or whatever. Last time it happened was about 2 weeks ago. A young lad raced right by me. There's probably 10 other vehicles in front of me. I was in the very back. He pulled into the restaurant. I pulled into the exact same restaurant, and I was out of my car before him, even though he raced in front of me and 10 other vehicles. And that being said, I was also, only because I spoke with him to try and reassure him how things work, I could have also been back in my vehicle and on the road before he was. So, even though he got his order before me, it happens quite often. So being set up, situated, and dialed in, concentrating on your job and not texting, phone, or making phone calls to other people will save you time and money. put the most profit in your pocket. I looked at getting the best car for the situation. Now, Victoria is very European styled city, and so I went from a V6 paying out probably around $75 a day. With the fuel prices now in the summertime, I'd be looking at $85 to $95 a day to operate that car. Now that would be fuel, insurance, and maintenance. Yes, I do have delivery insurance. I purchased myself a smart car by working 16 hours a day plus for 2 weeks straight to be able to come up with the money to buy the car, and ended up getting myself a smart car because it's the smallest. I got a diesel because the diesel engine's the strongest. It's a 3-cylinder engine, and it was the cheapest vehicle to buy, which was about $3,500, I think. Everything all to do the traveling and everything to pick up the vehicle cost me $4,000, and then my insurance, obviously, I'm paying that month by month. But that being said, now my vehicle in the wintertime generally costs me $25 a day. In the summertime, it's cost me closer to $35 a day. So that's saying I get 3 to 4 orders, and it's nothing but profit into my pocket after that, other than any major maintenance that might come along. Now, I'm mechanically inclined, so I try to do most of my maintenance myself, but that's all a write-off even if I take it to the shop. So there's a few key hints for you. I see a lot of guys driving, $25,000 to $50,000 vehicles or higher, even up to $70,000 vehicles. And to me, it just doesn't quite make sense. Unless it's a Tesla, but even then, that's kind of iffy. Looking at a $50,000 to $70,000 vehicle, by the time it's paid off, it's burnt out. By buying a $3,000 vehicle, my vehicle will burn out roughly about the same time as that vehicle that costs $50,000 to $70,000, and I put what? If it was $50,000, I put $45,000 extra into my pocket compared to that guy that paid that out. Even a $25,000 car, I still put $21,000, $22,000 into my pocket, more so than that nice brand new shiny car that looks good and looks cool. But that's just the way I think. I think very business minded. This is a business, and if you treat it like a business, you will win. If you treat it like a job and just do this and that here and there, well, that's what it will be. But number one, best thing to do is take your profit, put it into stock. There was a girl that was not quite signed up with her business, and she found out that she had to pay $26,000 towards income taxes. And then I told her about the paper trail and saving all your receipts. And she's heavily invested into the stock market with her profit, so she won right there. But by putting all the paper trail together and handing that to the accountant with what I recommended, she was able to bring herself down from $26,000 to just over $1,200 owing to the government in income taxes. So people, save all of your receipts that are business related. Fuel, maintenance, food, etc. Your cell phone bill, whatever, anything that is business related. You can write off up to 25% of your house or mortgage or rent and utility bills. That's up to, though. You have to have that space utilized as an office to be able to do so. Office supplies, computers are 100% write-off. There's so many things, but this is not about that. Get a book and learn about it. Anyways, that's a bunch of information. I hope it helped you out. This is this week. And so I continue to work crazy shifts. 12 hours is what I've cut myself down to. For the summertime, I'm going to be cutting down to 4 12s. And then I'll go hard again once things are rectified. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see you again on the 50,000 kilometers. But in between the 25 and 50,000 kilometers, I think I'm going to come up with some more entertaining videos since I'll have some time. Thank you.